A colleague once shared a story that still unsettles him, not because of what was discovered, but because of who was present when it happened. Nothing about the event appeared unusual at first, yet every part of it now feels out of place. The events took place in a small European town, a place shaped by centuries of history. Cobblestone streets crossed the town square, and fragments of ancient ruins still rested beneath the surface, mostly forgotten. During a renovation project in the town square, workers uncovered something unexpected. Buried deep beneath the ground were two massive stone statues. Both figures were kneeling, their surfaces worn smooth by time. Their faces were solemn and forward-facing, as though fixed on something unseen. The excavation team chose to proceed carefully, clearing the surrounding soil rather than lifting the statues immediately. By afternoon, word had spread, and a crowd gathered to watch. Among the onlookers stood an elderly man wearing a long, faded brown coat. His face showed the marks of age, but his blue eyes were unusually sharp. At first, there was nothing about him that drew attention. He appeared to be just another spectator. At some point, he calmly stated that he had seen the statues as a child. He claimed that he had placed several copper coins beneath them for good luck. The elderly man wondered aloud whether the coins were still there. The rest of the crowd found his comment amusing. The statues were believed to have been buried for centuries, far beyond the lifetime of anyone present. The lead archaeologist acknowledged his remark with polite skepticism, noting that if the old man's claim was true, it would challenge everything known about the site. Work went on. As the soil was removed, several cracked clay jars came into view. Their texture and coloration suggested a great age, older than the team had expected. The crowd grew silent as the implication became clear. When the statues were finally lifted, something else was revealed. Beneath them lay several copper coins. They were heavily corroded, darkened with age, and partially green from oxidation. The archaeologist examined one of the coins closely. Based on its markings and composition, he identified it as originating from the Merovingian period, more than 1,000 years earlier. Attention turned back toward the elderly man, but he was no longer there. No one recalled seeing him leave. There had been no disturbance in the crowd, no clear path through which he could have exited. He had simply vanished. As confusion spread, a young historian recalled something unsettling. She mentioned that the old man's coat had carried a distinct pattern, one that seemed unusually old. The archaeologist consulted reference materials and found illustrations of ancient textile patterns recovered from Merovingian burial sites. The designs featured interwoven shapes, stylized animals, and geometric forms. They matched the pattern on the old man's coat exactly. The implication spread through the group in silence. The statues had remained undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. There were no signs of recent digging beneath them, and no indication that the ground had been opened in modern times. The coins themselves showed clear evidence of long burial. Their condition made it impossible that they had been placed there recently or introduced without leaving traces. No historical records mentioned coins being placed beneath the statues. Yet the old man had known exactly where they were. One possibility was that the knowledge had been passed down orally from one generation to the next. However, for a detail so specific and seemingly insignificant, such transmission was difficult to justify. When the archaeologist later reviewed the incident, he found that no conventional explanation accounted for both the knowledge and the clothing. Once he realized it, the remaining implications became difficult to dismiss. The elderly man had not appeared to be a scholar reenacting the past. He seemed to belong to it. Someone in the crowd joked that the old man might have time-traveled. Amusing as it sounded, the archaeologist was not ready to go there. What remained was an absence of theory rather than a conclusion. For generations, archaeologists had believed that patience and evidence could reconstruct history piece by piece. But that day, despite careful excavation and meticulous research, no answers were uncovered. Only a deeper mystery had been brought to the surface.